Hey, my investy besties, welcome back to Mommy Trader. If you are new to Mommy Trader, welcome to the channel. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. Come on, guys, let's do air hugs. Oh, I appreciate you guys so much for being here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the little bell notification button so that you don't miss an upload every time I post a video. And join me down in the comment section below so that we can just chit chat and do what we can to change the face of wealth. Okay, so in this video, we're going to be talking about 5 financial mistakes my husband and myself, made over the years, because I think it's so important to acknowledge the hiccups and the things that went wrong, because I think a lot of times, especially on social media, the perception is we do everything right. And Lord knows we do not do everything right. And so I wanted to come on here and really point out some of those things and talk to you about those, because maybe some of you are in those situations and you're just looking for some advice or, what we did to overcome those and be able to chug along on this path to FIRE, which is financial independence, retire early. So the first mistake that we made was not investing in our 20s. I've said it on this channel many, many times that in our 20s, we were just turned up. We were just having a good time. We figured we just got our whole lives ahead of us, not realizing time goes by so fast. And the thing is, you may not have as much time in terms of working years that you realize. We didn't know we would have a special needs son when I was 29. We didn't know that. And so your life will sometimes have to be altered. And that's why it's so important that the sooner you get your first, and they used to tell us our first real job, the sooner we start saving and investing, being wiser with our money, the better we'll put ourselves in the future in case something, do happen. And so not investing enough. I wish you would have just invested more in the 401k. I wish we would have saved more, not bought a bunch of junk that we really didn't care. We wore once. There was stuff that I didn't even wear that had tags on it. Now, that's kind of crazy. When you take a bunch of stuff to Goodwill or things like that and it has tags on it because you didn't wear it. These are the things that we could have been putting that money to work for us in the stock market, or say our savings account, or just different things like that. I mean, we really wasted a whole decade. When you think from 20 to 30, a whole decade and nothing to show for it. And I'm joking about it now, but it's a very, very serious thing. A whole decade and nothing to show, not even like a little bit of something. It was just debt. That's all that we had to show for it. And so if I could go back and talk to Shalice years ago, I would say, girl, put a little something away. Always put a little something away. You don't have to put a whole lot, especially if you don't have a whole lot to put away, but something is better than nothing. Every little bit counts. So yes, I wish we would have started investing in our 20s, investing and saving in our 20s. The second thing that I wish, or a financial mistake that we made, was not being risky enough. And when I say risky, I'm not talking about like being careless. I'm talking about allowing fear to really dominate. And I'm not just talking about in the 20s. Sometimes that creeps up now. One of the reasons why I did not start a YouTube channel before this year was because of fear. I didn't think I looked right on camera. I didn't think I would talk well on camera, that anybody would be able to relate to me or this journey. And I allowed fear to really stifle this process, to be able to encourage someone else to start their journey as well. And so I wish that, and this is more so me than my husband, being more risky, really taking the first step to do things that I have never experienced before, like YouTube. I would watch YouTube often, but it's so different when you are the one in front of the camera talking into a phone and hoping that you don't sound cray-cray, okay? And there are times, even after filming a bunch of videos, where I still feel a little like anxious about it. And I'm sure many of you who do have YouTube channels find yourselves in this position, but overcoming that fear and just stepping out more and doing things that look like they are uncomfortable, but then you find out once you take that leap that you love it. I love filming videos. It takes a lot of work, but I love it. And I'm not perfect at this. Lord knows I make a lot of mistakes. I talk too fast. Sometimes I ramble. Sometimes I say and like a whole lot. And I'm really trying to work on that. But the fact of the matter is I stepped out. And so I stepped out now. I wish I would have started, years and years ago. But again, I learned from that and I've been taking more risks. And it's really, really helpful with the investing, especially like the Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency, investing in the stock market, growth companies, my husband's business, starting Mommy T as a business, just being more riskier with some education, some forethought, really having a plan, a solid plan down, and just taking the leap and just seeing what happens. Because like they say, no risk, no reward. So that's the second thing, is that I wish we would have been a little bit more riskier and just putting ourselves out there, because I do believe it would have benefited us positively right now and in our future too. The third thing is about rambling up my words, guys. See, but look, what I just talked about, it's okay. We all make mistakes. We all kind of rumble and bumble and stumble on this journey, but I'm still going to proceed. I'm not editing this out either. The third financial mistake that we made on this journey, my husband and I, is not talking about finances before we got married. A lot of people don't do this, and I know talking about finances is very taboo. I mean, politics, religion, and finances. Those are the three big kahunas when it comes to how do you bring this conversation up. But it is so important to do this when you are meeting someone and you feel like they're the one. You really have to have this conversation. I suggest having this conversation over food. Food, for some reason, seems to really kind of bring the walls down with people, really helps them to be more mellow and calm. And full bellies, it's hard to get angry when you have a full belly full of good food. So bringing this conversation up over a meal, using the right words and tones is so important, because there are a lot of people who don't talk about finances or the plan that they have or where they see themselves in the future, and get married and find that they're butting heads with each other in terms of finances. And what do? They split up. They get divorced. Many, many couples split up. And the main reason, outside of infidelity, that couples split is over money. And not having these conversations about credit, and do you want to have children? Do you want to help put the children through college? Do you believe in saving or investing? Maybe starting your own business, or different things like that. Is really, really important to have those conversations, because we didn't. And I think we were so sprung and in love, and which is good. That's not a bad thing. But they one of my older aunts told me that one day the honeymoon phase is going to be over and real life is going to set in. And if you don't have these conversations, not just about finance, but about just what do you believe in? What are some of your goals? What aspirations do you have? And when you find that your partner may not be on the same page, it will cause for a lot of arguments. I'm telling you, we argued a lot because those conversations just wasn't had. Now, we kind of met and got engaged super, super fast. But I'm telling you guys, once we were able to sit down and recognize what his strengths were, what my strengths were in terms of finance. For example, my husband is really great at finding new things. He was the one that put me on cryptocurrency. He was the one that put me on Elon Musk. And I didn't know. I was just strictly a index fund person, which is still great. But I'm all about diversifying the stuff now. Whereas my strengths are, once he tells me or gives me something to look at, I can break it down in bite-sized pieces and make it more detailed and put together reports and put together how we actually can achieve this goal. So we mesh those two positives together, and now we're able to kind of go full steam ahead, because we recognize our strengths don't have to be the same. That's his strength. This is my strength. Let's put those things to work together. And we have just been riding off into the sunset. Now, I'm not saying we don't have issues, but communication is so important, especially when it comes to finances. So if I could go back, I would say, girl, have this conversation with your man now, but so that you can avoid a lot of headaches, a lot of stress and tension in your relationships. The fourth financial mistake that we made was not saving for our kids sooner. And this is really, really important. When you become pregnant, you can start saving a couple of dollars. And as soon as that baby is born, open up an account for them. A 529, an UTMA, an UGMA. As soon as you get their social security card, you can open up an account for them. They don't have to be like 5 years old going off to school. You can do this as soon as they are born. A couple of dollars, $5 every time you get paid. $5 every time you get paid for 18 years with compound interest is a lot of money. And I wish we would have just put a little bit away when we had our first child and, our subsequent children. But like I say, we know now, and we are doing what we can now to save for our children's future. The fifth and final financial mistake that we made was using credit cards. And this is more so me using credit cards as a coping mechanism. And this, I'm always talking about how we approach money psychologically and mentally and emotionally on this channel, because I think it's so important to really talk about that more and really help each other to overcome that so we can achieve all of our financial goals. But yes, using credit cards, whenever we were sad, we would swipe. When we were happy, we would go buy something. If we were feeling down, I would order takeout. And the thing is that every little bit adds up. So when you are swiping and it's a couple of dollars here, you're swiping again, it's a couple of dollars there. At the end of the month, you get that statement. You're like, how did I spend $585 on this stuff? On food and takeout and clothes, and it's because you're using it to cope with something versus finding a way to come to terms with whatever it is, to forgive yourself, to come to peace with some things, to really talk it out. I can tell you that what helped me a lot was journaling. Prayer helped as well. Finding a trustworthy person to talk to. My husband is like my best friend. I talk to him about literally everything. When I say I talk to him about everything, I talk to him about everything. All of the TMI stuff, women issues, I talk to him about everything. Like, seriously, I talk to him about everything. And it's so important to have someone or something, even if it's, like I said, journaling, to really put that stuff off out of here so that you don't use debt to help you feel good or to feel better, because at the end of the day, you don't want the banks calling and all the letters and notices in the mail because, you use them to cope. And I can tell you that I was also spending a lot of money trying to fulfill childhood issues. I didn't get enough of this when I was younger, so I was going to make sure that I had 5 of this. So if I only had 1 coat when I was younger, I was going to have 10 coats right now as an adult, because I was never going to be without one. I really didn't need 10 coats. That was kind of insane. But again, you don't realize that you are using finance or debt really to cope. And once I was able to come out of that phase and forgive myself and forgive the past, I was able to really start fresh and anew. And I'm so happy that I've been on this path for several years now. And sometimes when the thoughts and the feelings and emotions come up, because they do, let's be honest, I can think back to all of the progress and all of the positive things that I have done. And it always, always gets me out of the hole every single time. So those are 5 financial mistakes that we have made, and sometimes we still struggle with. But again, it's real life, and we make sure that we just recognize where we go wrong and pick ourselves back up and keep moving forward. So I hope that you guys like this video. Leave me a comment down below. Share with me one of your financial mistakes, and share with the community as well, so that we can encourage each other and help keep each other accountable and let each other know that you are not alone. Okay, we are all human. We all make mistakes. Dust yourself off, get back up from there, and keep moving. Okay, again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me over on the Instagram, where I post more often. Thank you so much again, and until next time, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.